Hello everybody, it's Philip from IAD 1507, I do believe it is, and this is our week 1 video, and we're going to talk about our immersive element. Now this time around, we're going to go ahead and add boss battles into our element. It's a wonderful way of giving a little bit more challenge to users while breaking the humdrum of just killing ships and asteroids. So as we can see, we're going to do boss battles as a tactical immersive element, and we'll come down here and it'll look something like this. You have an alien spaceship coming in. Now I do have multiple boss types. This is just an example of what a circular UFO type would be. But they'll come in on the screen and they'll start firing at the user. So implementation wise, it's going to be a moderate implementation. It'll be fairly easy to do. We need to, of course, we'll just come in here to add the boss, make the boss move, make the boss fire towards player. Okay, so really those are our 3 things that we need to do. And adding the boss is fairly straightforward. I'm already adding other enemy types in here, so that's a piece of cake. I just need to preload the boss types that I have, and then how many bosses I'm going to load randomly, or whatever the case may be. As far as making the boss move, it's a little bit more difficult because not only do I have to make it move across the screen, which I use apply force vectors for, I also have to make it move randomly up and down, I think, towards the player. Now I'm going to try to get that done using apply force, but I'm not sure how it's going to work. But the point is, as it moves across the screen randomly, as long as it's still on the screen, it's going to try to move towards the player's vertical position. That way the player has a little bit more challenge with the boss. And then of course we're going to make the boss fire. Now one of the things that we talked about here was different elements within inside of the boss battles. So of course we do have different sized enemy ships, and we do have lasers that can fire, and it does have little pulses that it can fire as well. So with regard to the questions that we were asked, the estimated level of difficulty of implementing your feature is medium. I would say it's fairly simple to add the boss, make him fire, and make him move. In the order in which part of your immersive element will be implemented, the very first thing that we're going to do is get the boss on the screen, so that'll be the first thing. Add the timer check in there, add the conditional check, and just load the boss on the screen. So check 1. After that, we're going to go ahead and make the boss fire, so that's check 2. And then after that we're going to make the boss move. Now the reason I'm doing movement last is because when I add the boss to the screen, I'm going to make it just do a basic apply force to the other side of the screen. So that's going to be a basic movement first, and so we're going to add basic movement, lasers, custom movement. That way we can figure out, how the boss is going to move up and down on the screen. And then what an ideal implementation would look like, how would the user engage with your immersive element. So the ideal implementation would be literally like this. As the player is flying across the screen, the random enemy, regardless of the size or the type of ship, is going to come on the screen, and it's going to slowly move across the screen and begin firing. Now you'll notice there's no additional player ships, nor are there any additional asteroids on this screen, both of which will be tapered off as the boss approaches, so that the user is only focusing on that individual boss fight. Now, there will exist the ability maybe in the future to allow some ships and asteroids through, depending on the difficulty of the boss, but we'll cross that bridge later when we get there. Now, as far as how it's going to interact with the player will see the boss come on the screen, the music will change, the other enemy types will start to dissipate, and they'll be able to fire at this ship as it approaches. They will be able to hit it while it's not fully on the screen, but this guy will have a lot of health. So they can hit it as much as they want, and he's still going to get on that screen. So I think that'll keep it nice and active. And firing patterns will be random. They'll be able to fire it up and down within the player scope here, and it'll fire random particles out as well. So we're going to cross all 5 of those bridges when we get there. But for this assignment, it's adding the boss, basic movement across the screen, and adding fire types. And that really is about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. If so, let me know. Otherwise, we'll talk to you later.